Hey everyone, it's T. For this video, we're going to be talking about Netflix's 2018 movie Cam. The movie stars Madeline Brewster, Jessica Park Kennedy, Devin Droid, Samantha Robinson, and Flora Diaz, just to name a few. The movie's about a cam girl who goes by the stage name of Lola, who suddenly finds her account stolen from her. The person assumes her identity, and it looks like she's trying to take over everything that she has and destroy her life. And so we kind of watch Lola try to get her stream back and her life back under control after this person starts to copy her and take over. Overall, I thought the movie was really good. I highly recommend it. The acting and cinematography was average. Madeline Brewster did a good job, but other than that, there wasn't anything that stood out to me. The plot twists were good. There were lots of good sci-fi and horror elements to it. The only drawback is there wasn't too big of an explanation as to how these elements came about per se, how they work in the movie universe. But at the same time, that kind of doesn't matter because the main character, Lola, she doesn't give two shits about it. She doesn't care how it works, how it came to be. She just wants to shut it down. So even though we, the viewers, kind of care, she doesn't. So it's forgivable that it's not super clear and explained to us. One of the biggest elements that the film discusses and revolves around is sex work, camming in this case. But to give an overall sense of what sex work is for those who are unfamiliar, it's basically the exchange of sexual services, performances, or products for material compensation. So there's different types like prostitution, stripping, camming, escorting, porn, things of that nature. It generally refers to voluntary sexual transactions, so we're not going to talk about things like human trafficking or coerced and non-consensual sexual transactions, because the movie doesn't really talk about that, and it's not really relevant to the conversation. So we're just going to keep it to voluntary sexual transactions, so consenting adults doing this. So, as you can imagine, the main focus of the film is camming. It's also known as web modeling. You may have heard the term cam boy, cam girl, things like that. So basically what cam models do is they'll perform erotic acts like stripping or sexual acts online via stream. So they may do things like squat, flash people, eat, masturbate, things like that, different sexual acts. Some people do not do anything sexually explicit. They just kind of talk to their viewers. They can be clothed or not clothed, but most people do prefer to show some kind of nudity or perform some kind of sexual act. How they earn their money is that they can earn tips or do private shows. So in the streams, they may set different kind of goals, like, hey, if you guys give this amount of money, I'll spank myself, or something like that. Or they may do private shows like, oh, if you give this amount of money, I'll do a private show with you. They can also create things like Patreon, have outside sources like, maybe create a Pornhub account or something like that where they can post videos and get like a passive income from there. And that kind of leads to additional services being rendered. They may do photo shoots nude and send prints, send underwear, things like that. They may even meet up with the people that they stream with. It kind of depends on the person. It used to be considered a niche industry. However, it earns $2 billion annually in the US cam modeling. And the porn industry itself in the US makes about $5 billion. So it's not really niche anymore. It's kind of blown up a lot. And it's not inherently illegal like prostitution is or anything like that. Technically, everyone is consenting. As long as you're claiming it on your taxes and stuff, you're good. So, what does Cam say about camming and sex work as a whole in regards to society? Let's find out. Unfortunately, Cam doesn't really tell us anything new or interesting about sex work that you probably couldn't already guess. Like we can see, it's a lot of work. You have to be online a lot. You have to watch other girls, see what they're doing, stream a lot, of course, and then, of course, interact with all of your watchers or fans. And, of course, it pays to be nicer to the ones who are paying more than it is to those who are lower. Like, you have to be nice to everybody. However, it's best to be nice to the people who put the most money in your pocket. And it's also important to keep your personal life as well as your camming life separate, as we could see. In the one scene, one of Lola's patrons or whatever comes into her mom's place of work with flowers for her, saying that he did move closer to her in order to get like a job or something like that, and it really freaked her out. So it does show that there can be creepy people and also violent people, as you would see later in the movie when she decides to meet up with Barnacle Bob and he pretty much tries to beat her up. There's nothing really too new that Cam brings to the table in regards to sex work in general, but more specifically camming. So while Cam doesn't bring up any new or interesting facts about camming or sex work that we may not have already guessed, it does bring up some interesting things about identity. One theory regarding identity that I've always found interesting is the theory of the persona. And I don't mean the video games. It's an actual psychological theory that was created by Carl Jung. So basically, a persona can be defined as a mask or appearance one presents to the world in order to become more socially desirable. People can have multiple personas for work, school, family gatherings, things like that, and it can be used to make new friends or attract partners. So basically, we kind of all put on different personas. Like, the person I am with you guys isn't really the same person I am with my, friends and my boyfriend. Close, but not 100%. Same thing with, work. The person I am here and with my family and friends, completely different than who or what I am at work. So we all put on these different masks or personas in order to fill certain societal roles and expectations to make ourselves look better and acceptable in those different places. And while this can be useful and good, using personas too much can cause us to lose sight of our true selves. So the more we kind of act and pretend to be different people, the more we lose sight of who we truly are, the more kind of characters we play and the longer we play them. Even though it's necessary to do that sometimes, it can be dangerous in the sense that we lose sight of who our true selves are and, we become fragmented, and that can cause all types of psychological issues. So, what does Cam have to say about identity? There are some unique things that we see in regards to identity as well as the concept of the persona. We can see in the movie that Lola, which is her stage name, or Alice in her real life, does try to keep the divide between her real life and her work life completely separate. It seems like she has a separate line or app for those who try to reach her for work purposes. So anyone who wants to chat from her stream or anything like that could use that number or line compared to a friend or a family member calling her, which would have her own personal number. And then we also see, like I mentioned earlier, in the one scene where one of her watchers comes to her mom's job and that kind of freaks her out, we also see her trying to keep a separation in filming in only a certain part of her house. Doesn't want anyone in her bedroom or anything like that, her real bedroom. So we do kind of see separations there. As far as personality-wise, we do see differences between Alice, the real girl, and Lola for the stage, so to speak. In her real life, Alice seems a little bit more shy, a little reserved, while, Lola is outgoing and bubbly, and while Alice seems unsure of herself, while, Lola seems pretty sure of herself, understands what she's doing, all that. But while we do see differences, we kind of don't have a clear clue who Alice truly is, because she spends a good amount of her time working or thinking about different things to do as Lola. For example, when she's done a stream or not streaming, she seems to be studying up on the other girls, seeing how she can make her stream better, constantly working all the time. Like when it was her brother's birthday, her mom remarked how she was working all the time and that, she could take a little bit of time off to be with her family, things like that. So we can see a lot of her work life bleeding into her personal life. And also, we don't really see kind of who Alice truly is outside of Lola. Like I said, we see that she's more reserved, a little shyer, unsure of herself, a little awkward compared to her persona of Lola when she's working. But we don't really know too much about her. Like, we know she has a cat and she takes care of her cat and she cares about her family. She's obviously very hardworking. Also, she is very determined, very tenacious. She will do whatever it takes to get what she wants. But is that so much different from her online persona? We don't know. We don't really have a clear insight to that. And I think that's a big part of the movie. I think it was kind of intentional that we kind of know or see more of her persona than we do the actual Alice. Perhaps she's done the cam thing so long and tried she tried so hard and so long for it that it ended up kind of bleeding into one another. So she kind of lost her true sense of self. At least to me, that's the way that I perceive it. So as you can see, Cam did have some interesting things to say about identity as a whole, not only for those who engage in sex work, but in other forms of online entertainment, but as well as within one's personal or otherwise professional lives. How pretending to be someone or putting on different personas can have varying degrees of effects on us. In this case, we see it through the metaphor of the replicas. The other big thing is technological implications. So, with technology, we have more and more ways of not only communicating, but also making money. We can have businesses online. We can build social media careers, influencer careers, modeling careers. Basically, a whole new world of avenues is opened up because of technology. However, there are some dangerous implications here. We don't know exactly what these replicas were or are in Cam. We don't know if it's an algorithm. We don't know if it was a deep fake. We don't know if there's just some person out there just poaching accounts. We don't know if it's the company behind any of this. So we don't know. But there are several avenues that we can look at that imply how putting our livelihoods and ourselves online can expose us to these different dangers. I've seen a few theories as to what these replicas could be and how they could be related back to our current society. So for those of you who don't know, there was a program or a site called Deepfakes or whatever. And basically what they would do is they would take porn models or actresses or whatever, people engaging in different porn acts or whatever, and then superimposing celebrity faces on it. Now, this technology to superimpose someone's face onto something can be done with, I wouldn't even say professionals, but amateurs can even do this. So anyone can just put kind of your face on anything and make it seem like you're doing something that you're not. Like these celebrities that it happened to, they didn't make these tapes or anything like that. and yet, there's videos out there of them, quote unquote, doing these things. So that's something pretty dangerous, not only in the sense of revenge porn, but if someone wanted to get revenge on you in another form, like you piss someone off, they could record someone with a similar body type and appearance saying something bad or doing something bad, and then superimposing your face on it, and then sending that out to family, friends, employers, things like that, getting you in trouble. And then the technology is also getting so good, it could be disastrous. Like, it could show, oh, this world leader said this or that in a different country that doesn't know any better, and they could think that's the real thing. So even though some people use it for kind of like harmless fun kind of things, there can be deeper implications that aren't harmless and that aren't fun. Another interesting comment that I saw when I was doing research for the movie was that a lot of websites and stuff, like, you guys know that YouTube has algorithms or whatever, and a lot of other websites do, and they can use this to market you certain things, make sure certain things are shown to you or not shown to you. And this person who left a comment had mentioned that with some websites, what can happen is that the algorithm can not only mess with your stats, but change things around, so where you're no longer top or number one or something like that. I know I'm explaining it pretty poorly. Let me see if I can find the comment. This is a Google review. I'm just going to read the important bits. I see a lot of comments here confused about the motives and the it behind hacking the girls' sites. The motive is money. They let the real-life human girls work their way up the ranks, and when the bot computer sees which girls are earning the most, then it steps in and hacks the accounts, thus receiving all the earnings. And it also mentions how with the YouTube channels, like some will send out bots to assess what music, characters, or visuals are good, and then put that together and create these sketches and stuff for like kids' YouTube channels. And we've seen how that goes. If you're in the know with YouTube, it can be pretty disastrous. And basically what they're saying here is that in this case, the bots are, as a theory, the bots are stepping in and hacking the accounts and taking over so they can get all the revenue from the girls that are on the site, which is a good theory, definitely a possibility, and that's definitely something that a sleazy company could do in real life, not only to a cam model, but to different vendors or sellers online or different businesses online. So there's definitely some real life technical implications here that we should be kind of aware of and weary of. Even though things haven't gotten to that point yet, there is a real potential here, if left unchecked, that these things could legitimately happen. And so the last point I want to talk about in regards to the movie is cost. How much did all of this cost Lola? You could say that it almost cost her everything. When the replica took over her account, she lost all of her financials, all of her income. When it came out that she was doing these shows, she lost the respect of her family for a moment. Even though her little brother was cool with it at first, when his friends found out, he stopped talking to her. Her mother, she wasn't very supportive of it at first. It also cost her the relationship with some of her big clients or big viewers. It also cost her, emotionally as well. And even at the end, physically, like she hurt herself in order to get her account back. She decided that after all that, she was going to do it all again. And a lot of people, myself included, were like, well, why would you do that? Why would you go through something that traumatic and then go back to it? And, when asked, well, what are you going to do if this happens again? And you respond, well, we'll just keep doing this again. I'll just keep starting over again and again and again, despite everything that it costs me. Like I said, a big question to that is why. It seems like Lola does genuinely like what she does. However, it does seem that she likes what she does. However, at the same time, it affords her comfort and a good lifestyle. Like in one of the scenes when she was getting her hair done by her mom, she was buying like a $5,000 couch. I can't afford a $5,000 couch. I'm sure a lot of people can't afford a $5,000 couch. So to her, even though it could cost her everything to go through this again, and even though for a while it did cost her everything, that's something that she's willing to risk. And I think it says a lot about the desire to accumulate wealth and to have material goods. I enjoy my line of work generally. I enjoy my day job. However, if it ever came to a point where I'm going through hell, where I cannot live, my life is potentially in danger, my relationships are currently in danger, then hell yeah, I'm going to leave that and I'm going to never look back. And even though this is what happened to her, she still decides to do it. Maybe then I don't really love my job that way. But even if it's something that I love, if it's hurting me, then that's something you gotta let go of. It's putting everything you have or everything you will ever have at risk, then is that something that you really want to hold on to? So some may argue that, oh, well, she loves it so much that she just wants to continue doing it. Part of me is like, well, no, because love doesn't keep you warm at night. Like buying $5,000 couches might. You know what I mean? Having financial stability like that would definitely be a great motivator to keep someone from leaving. Having someone saying, you know what, if this fucked up shit happens to me again, I'm ready to go. I know what to expect, and I'll do it all over again. I'll do it as many times as I have to in order to keep this going. I personally think that can be a detriment, because sometimes no matter how badly you want something, or no matter how much you love something or how well off it's having you, if it's going to, like I said, put you and everything you have or will ever have in danger, then I don't think that's worth the cost. That's kind of it. That's kind of my deep dive here for Cam. I really enjoyed it. I think it's a great movie, so if you haven't checked it out, please do. Let me know what you've thought of the movie if you've watched it. Let me know if you want to watch it as well. And of course, let me know your thoughts and feelings on anything mentioned in the video, and if you like the video. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye! Bye, bye, bye!